Today on the Gamers for Life podcast, we talk about Phil Spencer doing a bait and switch where Call of Duty is not coming out next year. Elden Ring getting amazing reviews, and much, much more coming up here at the Gamers for Life podcast. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Gamers for Life podcast, where each and every Saturday we're discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jerrell. With me is my co-host, Arthur Thomas. What's happening, man?
Not much. I hate how with every recording video app thing, it feels like I move my eyes like a centimeter to the right to look at something, but on camera it's like, what the fuck's way over there? So that's why I was making faces, because I'm watching myself. For me, move my eye like doop, but on camera it's like.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's funny because originally we were going to use Zencastr, and I remember using Zencastr a lot during quarantine. They still don't have their act together as far as for the video. They're like, "Oh, just download both videos." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that." So,
hey, do you want to? Yeah, download both videos. Go fuck yourself.
so we're back. We're back on the trusty Zoom here.
We're back on the company that took down Skype fucking 20-year fucking 20-year lead on shit.
Right.
Zoom. I still like that tweet. Somebody tweeted Skype like, how do you lose like a 20-year lead on shit?
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Competition, man. You don't have to improve if there's no competitors.
There you go. So before we get started, a couple housekeeping notes here. First and foremost, wanted to briefly address here just some of the stuff that's been going on in the real world here, connected. And what I mean by that is, of course, we talked about Stalker 2. We talked about a little bit ago during the Xbox conference. They're working on Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, and they did release a tweet, talking about the state of affairs, saying, here in quote, as of today, the Russian Federation has officially declared war on Ukraine. A country woke up sounds of explosions, weapons, is ready to defend its freedom and independence, for it remains strong and ready for anything. The future is unknown, but we hope the best. We are ever sure of our armed forces and our belief in Ukraine, end quote. I will end there. So I just wanted to say my hearts and thoughts and prayers with Ukraine. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the world here. So if you are a current, or actually a reoccurring viewer here of the Gamers for Life podcast, hello. Be sure to, and if you're not, be sure to like and subscribe. Typically, about 80% of our folks that watch our show are not subscribers, and you can just press one button, actually two of them, one to subscribe, and two to hit the notification bell so you know what's coming out. And you'll get links to, access to release notifications on all the cool stuff that we're doing, whether it be video game clips. Also, the streams too. So we've migrated from Twitch over to YouTube. So Arthur and myself, we do Twitch streams and whatnot. And then many of our other friends too, will play with them via stream. So all of that, be sure to do that. And also, if you want to check out some of our other audio episodes, we've got some classics here on the Gamers for Life podcast. You can go to linktree.com/Gamers for Life. That is like kind of our all-in-one link. So if you prefer to stream via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever, that's a good way to get started there to find us. And here at the Gamers for Life podcast, we read the news or watch the news while you can listen or watch to what you choose by clicking on the links in the time code within the description of the episode. So you'll be able to go directly to the thing that you want to watch and or listen to, or you can just listen or watch the whole thing. Hang out with us here at the Gamers for Life podcast. Happy Saturday, Arthur. And before we get started on the list here, as you know, I've had my challenges with a game that didn't come out too long ago, but it's one of those games where it's like I want to keep playing this, but I don't want carpal tunnel because I'm a guitar player. And the game I'm talking about is SIFU. I picked that one up recently, $40, not bad. When it comes to the price, really fun game, really fucking hard, and it's super hardcore. I appreciate it. It's definitely, you kind of mentioned it when you were watching some of my previous streams. Oh, it's very Ninja Gaiden like. I'm like, yeah. So
in terms of it's very. from what I've seen from like videos and you play it when you stream on YouTube, it's very Ninja Gaiden like in terms of saving in progress.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you lose during the boss fight, you don't start you don't restart the boss fight. You restart the whole level.
Yeah, yeah. You start the whole level. Checkpoints don't exist, and then any XP or whatever that you've unlocked, that all goes away as well. So they really force you to learn the moves and everything. And I have gotten better actually since I've been off stream. But there's a couple of enemies that I need to identify how to fight them. So I need to take my time with that. But man, that like I've had to like take it. I've had to take a break from playing video games for my hand to heal.
It's definitely a complicated game. But one thing I saw in terms of review that got like a lot of liked or thumbs up of like, oh, this is helpful. Is so first of all, during the opening credits, this game is, aesthetically and just from its core mechanic, you can tell it's a big giant homage to the old school martial arts movies that have been quote unquote like underground and only recently have been getting more light thanks to VHSs or Blu-ray makes or other people doing like what I used to do in college, go do like midnight showings of like random old school 80s kung fu action movies. Like the opening credits, I forget, I had something, it's the opening credits to the game, which is also a tutorial which is also a tutorial for a lot of the moves. That opening credit is like a huge homage to like another classic, but not too well known, like martial arts movie. It's like something brothers, I forget the name myself,
Oh,
but
really?
um, one thing I will say there was a review of the game that a lot of people found helpful from people that played the game but found it a little challenging. Is one dodge mechanic they kind of mentioned, but it's not one of the ones they hone in you, because Jel during the tutorial, it's like do this 3 times, do this three
Yeah.
times. Well, there was one they only have you do once and move on. It's like the weapon dodge, like you're in place, but only a part of you is dodging. And people said that becomes really, really helpful once you really learn it. But
Oh,
you kind
okay.
of forgot. You kind of like a lot of players forgot it because again, it's not one of those main ones you do like 3 4 times to progress in the tutorial. It's like if you hold L1 and move the stick, so it's like your feet are still in place, but you're dodging your top half, or vice versa. If someone like your top half stays the same, but your feet move so you can avoid a sweep or something.
Okay.
So,
That's good to
so
know.
I'll send you a video, but yeah, so that was one thing that someone said that when they relearned that, it became a lot easier. But it is definitely roguelike. It's a little short, but again, $40 purchase. So I
Yeah.
fair again, not massive in terms of quote unquote length with an asterisk, depending on how challenging it is. But it looks fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks so fun, and again to the homage, the soundtrack when I was watching you play it, all the boss fight soundtracks, so cool.
Yeah, it's good, bro. Yeah, if you don't buy it right away, definitely try to get it on sale. It's really fun. It's definitely worth it, regardless of my many times I've died. But
Yeah, that core mechanic of you get older or with every death. I'm a little disappointed because I wanted to see like a 9-year-old fucking like Kill Bill master
oh, you want
fucking like
you want the really old guy?
I'm 105 but can still whoop that ass. Fucking I think because the death counter kind of snowballs where it's like the more you die, the more you age per death.
Yeah,
It's like if you die, it's like if you die less, it's like if you die less, you're only aging like 2 years at a time.
yeah,
But again, the game can, like some Souls like games. I'll put this in the category of Souls like, especially with the progress. Um, you can age like 9 years at a time, and so arguably, quote unquote, the cap is like 80 or 79 or something like that. Um, but it does look fucking
yeah,
cool. When I was watching you play, I was like, oh, you have a beard now.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty wild, bro. So to start off here, another one of the games that I was curious of potentially getting, and Metacritic is making it a lot easier for me to justify my decision. It's good old Elden Ring. So I would say definitely this is a breath of fresh air. And according to Metacritic, when it comes to multi-platform, when it came to the PS5, Xbox One, the PC, Metacritic is, or the Metacritic score has been an average between 94 to 97 out of over 40 reviews, which is pretty huge. I know on the PS5 they gave it the Metacritic must play stamp, which is huge. So it seems like this game is really getting some pretty sweet reviews, at least from when it comes to the journalists and whatnot. I wanted to ask you the main question here. I mean, hell, do you find yourself, I mean, even if not pre-ordering, do you see yourself buying Elden Ring this year?
Yes, but not now. And that's only because something again I've mentioned a lot: gameplay slash timing. So right now, for example, Victor and I, you mentioned in the past, our good friend, housemate from college, currently in the army, but here in the States, so time zone's a lot better. We recently just beat It Takes Two. We streamed a part of it. I found out I couldn't stream the rest only because one, we weren't sober, but that's not the biggest reason. Victor loves karaoke.
Not everyone had their clothes on.
No, Victor. No, Victor, he likes karaoke a lot.
Oh, okay.
So drunk Victor will find himself singing a lot, and I'm like, I can't slap a recording of Victor singing. It's like, yeah, hey, what can I call this? What can I call this video? DMCA strike number 4. But
Yeah.
we recently beat It Takes Two.
Oh, nice.
Of course, Game of the Year last year at the Video Game Awards, and I
Yep.
absolutely can see why. Play
Nice.
this game. One thing that is worth noting about It Takes Two is it is heavily built from the ground up to be cooperative. What I mean by that, they're like, what I mean by that, they're like, yeah, that's our avatars. What I mean is there's no AI. Like, this game is only playable with a second player. Some games, like let's say Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood, etc. Some other games are heavily advertised as cooperative, but you can still play by yourself with an asterisk in the sense there's an AI to fill those gaps.
Yeah.
This game doesn't have that. This game is meant to be played with another human.
Hmm.
Both couch coop, local co-op, or online. Now,
Okay.
something that is worth mentioning for the various consoles and stuff. For Xbox and PC, it's on Game Pass.
Hmm.
Now, for Sony players, there's still like a ray of hope there. They have what some EA games have been doing recently called the Friends Pass, where if only one of you buy it, you can pick one person to play it with, and even if they don't have it, that one person can play with you without having to purchase it.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's really fun. I can't clock in the game, like the length of the game. It won't matter. It's not short. That's a good thing. It's the mechanics. It's definitely puzzling like Portal, but not as angry as Portal. It's like if Portal meets Little Big Planet in terms of like worlds and puzzles and stuff, but again, it's more focused on working together than fucking screaming at each other.
That's good.
Which
That's
I
always a
think,
positive.
which some would argue was what clearly like based in its core mechanics. Portal was meant to do. Portal was meant to hate or kill a person, or it's like Portal gives you a lot of opportunities to kill a person. This game does too, but again, it's just a really well done game. The other game I've been playing since then is something that came on Game Pass. That's right, my alley. Indie RPG, here's my fingers. Indie RPG, cooperative, open world. Nobody saves the world. It's a game on Game Pass. I don't know if it's on PC. But I can tell you, I know it's on Xbox. Definitely look into it. It's really fun. It's really cool. It's there are classes, but the classes are also skill points. What I mean by that is the premise of the game is you shapeshift into a different thing. So picture a skill tree, but every point in the skill tree is a different thing to unlock. Like, you start as your regular you, then you're a rat, and then then there's knight, then ranger, then magician, then slug, then mermaid, then this. It's really fun.
Nice.
The animation style, the gameplay. I'm not saying the story's I'm just saying I'm definitely playing a lot more for the mechanics and the looks and the gameplay versus like like let's say the story compared to like It Takes Two.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Good to know. At least you got something to play there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm definitely heavily considering getting Elden Ring. We'll see what happens, but
Yeah, and if it wasn't if Elden Ring were to come out next month, like put it this way, next month I might get it.
yeah,
But right now, Dying Light 2 just came out, and I'm a huge fan of the Dying Light Techland Deep Silver family. So I'm still ignoring all these rumors of Dead Island 2 might have a release date, says Insider. No, don't give me hope. Fuck you. So, there's
yeah,
stories we post about on the Instagram or to each other, but we're not going to talk about here because, again, I'm not the biggest rumor guy. And like you and Kojima, I've heard these rumors for fucking years.
yeah,
Rumor for the fifth time, we might have a release date of Dead Island 2. Like,
yeah.
show
That
me, show
doesn't
me,
tell us anything.
show me the papers, show me the receipts. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, indeed. And speaking of receipts, it seems like Phil Spencer he did a master purchase and potential bait and switch. At least this is what I'm seeing with this deal that they recently made with Activision Blizzard of acquiring them. And just to kind of paint a little bit of a picture on just the chronology of this situation. First and foremost, obviously they acquired Activision Blizzard for what $68 billion or something crazy. Uh,
68.7.
yeah. So yeah, 69 or give or take if we round about. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that was a huge thing, and then also the responsiveness, especially with Sony saying, "Hey, I want to make sure that you guys fulfill the rest of your contract. That games are going to be out for all of the other platforms until that specific date." And then Phil Spencer was like, "Yo, we had a great conference call. Where we want to assure that these games are going to be available on all the other platforms. Until the acquisition takes place." So it seems like that calmed everybody's nerves, and for those people that are like, "What the hell is going on?" And then recently, this week, some big news dropped, and the information I pulled is from VGC, but this is just the I'm reading the title here from the Gamers for Life Instagram post, and it says here that Activision has decided to delay Call of Duty's game next year as in 2023.
Yes.
First time that it's happened in the franchise for over 20 years. So
Jesus.
the funny thing about this is that there is a report where it was saying kind of like potential numbers. Say if there was a year of Call of Duty that Sony, say it was exclusive to Xbox and Sony didn't get it, that they would lose like an average of like $200 million, right?
Yeah.
So imagine, and then also on top of this, you have the the FCC, excuse me, investigation on the purchase, which I think they'll be fine. But
Disney's bought more shit.
yeah, but the funny thing for me is like, yo, we're not going to have this deal go into effect until 2023 or over past 2023. Surprise, Activision isn't making Call of Duty next year. Like, if I was Sony, I would be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that seems like the best bait and switch of all time.
Wait, so I just realized that. So isn't that technically Activision's move since Phil doesn't have power till next year?
I mean, it's Activision's move.
Or it's one of those like speak softly, carry a big, I'll shoot you in the face in the dark
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's in quotes it's in quotes Activision's move,
Mm-hmm.
but like come on. You know what I mean? So that's kind of
Activision has a press conference and blinks in Morse code. It was Phil.
So I mean, I can't hate, but what are your thoughts first and foremost?
Good. I mean, I'm glad. Again, for me, I haven't. For me, again, a Call of Duty has not been good, arguably, since before they stopped doing this fucking annual launch.
Yeah.
Like it's mad, like it's a fucking football game. And
Yeah.
and even then, I fucking hate those games too. Because that was a start where it was not only a genre, or at least franchise shift in focus. That was when I think the industry slowly started to focus on like, oh, games are a paycheck than entertainment or art.
Right.
I mean, like, fuck, even the Olympics is every 2 years. Fuck, like, come on. 2 years in the sense that there's summer of the winter. I know the Olympics every 4 years.
Right,
I would try to Google. Just can't. I had to Google it because no one's watching the Olympics this year.
right.
um, sorry, worst ratings in Olympic history, modern
Yeah.
history. But Olympics, the fact that no one's watching the Olympics or not, I think we can all agree. Sony's the overall quality. The overall quality of Call of Duty has gone down since they did the whole annual launch thing. Now, I'm not saying it's clearly not profitable. I'm not saying it's not profitable, popular because the numbers are there. But again, I think we can agree that again the quality has gone down.
Yeah.
When did they have been doing the annual launch thing? Even though technically it's biannual in the sense that it's with these developers. But still, I mean, no one like Vanguard, even now, the new Call of Duty Vanguard, people just still say Vanguard is just a $60. It's just a $60 gun leveling game to level your World War II guns in Warzone, which even then doesn't matter because it's because Warzone is fucking laughable in the sense that the second a new gun drops in Warzone, that's all everybody uses because it's fucking overpowered. And in fact, it's purposely overpowered so they can sell skins for it. So Call of Duty doubles down. Call of Duty actively doubles down on making these guns overpowered, making these guns more popular so that you can buy skins for them. So why focus on fucking games when you can just make shitty when you can just focus on this fucking battle royale and and get the transactions from the skins there. So who knows? I mean, and another thing that did come out recently this week too is the mention of Warzone 2 is in the near future
Yeah.
and how that's going to go. But remember, with the release window of Warzone 2, that will fall under the time where Phil Spencer has it.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that's going to go. But again, am I happy about this? I'm very happy with this because I think this is potentially hoping that now that it won't be every fucking year, and now that it's going to be under Phil, the quality will go up.
Yeah, I think and that's definitely our hope and dream, right? That the quality
Mhm.
will definitely go up. I mean, I think, outside of the whole acquisition deal, I think in general, I think it's just healthy for Call of Duty to not be annually, so it's not just a cash cow like like GT Online.
Yeah.
Because it's like there to me, I've come to the point now being this old gamer, right, where I'm okay of having both, but both need to be quality, right? So if you're gonna have something every year for the cash cow, people that want to feed it, then you have Warzone, do the Warzone thing. But when it comes to Call of Duty, the game, like I feel like the quality for me, like I like a really good story, I like really good mechanics, and then obviously for the multiplayer, I would like it to have its own identity. Like I feel like,
Yeah.
and I think you're exactly right. Especially when it comes to games like World at War, when it comes to the modern, the OG Modern Warfare 1 and 2, where those games had their own identity from a gaming perspective. Especially because we're still seeing remakes of maps from those games, like Shipment and then fucking Nuketown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're still seeing these maps because this is when these are some of the best maps,
These were
and
the back in my day when Call of Duty was good. Like there's a reason why we
yeah,
see remakes of Shipment. There's a reason why we see remakes of Nuketown.
yeah,
There's a reason that when people travel to that one street in France, that's like Modern Warfare. Like, hey, that's that map Modern Warfare 2 where you go down the bike path and stuff.
yeah,
If you know, you know, and if you don't, then fucking Google it. Um, but no, again, and so like we said, Warzone. It's just sad that clearly all Vanguard was just a fucking the put emphasis on Warzone.
yeah, yeah,
If that's
definitely.
gonna be if that's gonna be the case, lower your fucking price. Like, why am I paying $60? Why are people paying $60 just to level their guns for a separate IP?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then also too, I don't want to harp too much on Battlefield because we did gut it pretty hard the last couple
Cut it more. It
episodes.
does no, especially real quick. Queeley's mentioned that EA's fucking who they blamed it on.
Oh, they're still blaming it on COVID and stuff.
They blamed it on COVID and Halo. Go fuck yourself,
Oh yeah,
EA.
and Halo. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
They
That is
they
ridiculous.
blame battle. So real quick, just what we're talking about is there was a I don't know if it was a press release or an interview, whatever, but there's a story came out that quote they blamed the the disappointing launch of Battlefield 2042 and this quality is on COVID and Halo.
Because I'm like, Halo came out 2 months after y'all. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know?
And it's like people, and it's like, okay, so what does Halo have to do with the fact you don't have a fucking scoreboard?
Yeah, that has nothing to do
Like the
with
343, kick
competition.
one of your developers in the balls and just walk away laughing. What the fuck are you talking? What the fuck? How the fuck are you
Yeah,
talking about?
were
You
they
blame this
work?
on Halo?
Yeah, like were they working on Halo Infinite during all this? Like, yeah, it makes
Like,
zero sense.
hey, Battlefield 2042 doesn't have a campaign. Hashtag thanks 343. Like, what the fuck do you mean? It's because of Halo.
Yeah,
And even now, because even now they're blaming COVID. Go fuck yourself, dude. Like that's a 2021 excuse. We are over it.
yeah. I mean, and you have, especially because when you have games that like Elden Ring, for example, you know, this is still technically COVID time and it's doing really fucking well. You know.
And what are those ratings? Is that why they're doing good? Thanks 343. Yeah. It's like, exactly. Like
Yeah.
Elden Ring is cross platform, cross play, sorry.
Mhm.
Cooperative. And it's getting like in lowest ratings right now is arguably a 94.
And it was in development for a long time too. You know, it wasn't like a
Yeah.
game that they, yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like, yeah,
And
whatever.
Battlefield 2042 only had to focus on a multiplayer. There
Yes,
was no campaign.
no campaign.
Fuck you, EA.
And then I guess the other thing too I want to talk about for Battlefield is, or this, I think it's the CEO or something. They're like, oh well, we feel like the game will be better played over time when we do the updates, and I'm just like, you guys are fucking like,
Fuck you.
yeah,
That's
like,
becoming that new quote
you guys
unquote
are
business model.
delusional, bro.
That
Yeah,
business model I was mentioning that's becoming more common where these
yeah,
AAA games think it's okay to launch a non-playable game at launch and to fix it over 2 years. Like
yeah.
that's becoming a new thing, and it's like go
It's like
fuck
shoot.
yourself.
It's like shoot first, ask questions later, but like make the game and patch it later.
Like here, let me take a turd and polish it in a year. Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm really worried about. It's funny. I'm more so worried about Battlefield than I am about Call of Duty. I think Call
Same.
of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that
Yeah.
weird? You know what I mean?
Like they said, 20 years. That's funny because that's exactly how long I have not cared about Call of Duty.
Yeah,
I will say
yeah.
this though, there was one article again, rumor or says insider. Why? I know a guy that looked at a guy from Call of Duty. um, no, but real quick, again, a rumor that I don't put too much heart into, but if it's true, cool. This new Call of Duty will be more zombies focused
Mm.
than campaign focused,
Oh yeah,
and I'm kind of okay with that because kind of like my best apples to apples connection about this is I feel like Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty is kind of writing themselves into a hole where because they've been pumping it out every fucking year, they've covered so many like battles or wars or scenarios in our lifetime that they're running out. So
yeah.
like Assassin's Creed, which I called it. I bet the next Assassin's Creed is going to be based on samurai because that's like the only thing that
That they
Assassin's Creed
haven't
hasn't
covered.
covered that they haven't covered. Again, Call of Duty is writing itself into a hole. I mean, they've already been to space. Like,
Yeah, that's
they've
true.
had future
That's
wars
true.
and they're still writing themselves into a hole. So that's another reason why I think that the campaigns have suffered is they're just kind of running ideas because again every year it's kind of like an anime thing. It's like it's kind of like anime thing is like why are there fillers? Because more things haven't happened yet.
Yeah,
But
I need to see a Vietnam hardcore Call of Duty. I need to
yeah,
see that. You know.
Medal of Honor did it great. But
'Cause-
again, that's the rumor is that the next one is going to be more zombies focused and campaign focused.
yeah.
And again, I think not only for again writing a writer's perspective, but mainly for the community and the gamers perspective, that's a good thing. I mean, like look at Vanguard and even then look at not World of War, the Cold War one, even the Cold War one, like within the first week of launch, eventually people started playing the campaign of Cold War and say the campaign's okay, but the playtime was like 70% zombies. No one was touching the campaign the first two
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
No one was touching it because they want zombies. It's like there's a Call of Duty campaign you can beat like in 3 hours or play zombies.
Yeah.
So if this is true, one holding it back, and potentially rumored to focus more on zombies in a campaign for the next launch. That's a big smart move from Activision, I think.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great. I think when it comes to breaking it down, breaking it down, I think it does make sense for them, and I still feel like this is still kind of like the a Phil Spencer move versus an Activision move. But
Speak softly. Speak softly. Carry a big apology to Phil Spencer.
yes, yes. So I wanted to talk about this because this next studio because I surprisingly was playing their game for over 27 hours, and I did not expect to at all. And I'm talking about the game Knockout City
Oh, yeah.
by Villain Studios. And recently, today, there is a report. Actually, well, I say today, as in February 24th. But this is from Gamatsu. It says that they're going to be going free to play this spring. So they're going to be taking that over from EA. So they will be separating themselves, and the developer will be starting season 6. And it'll be a free to play game and self published. So, congratulations to Villain Studios. They got huge acclaim and positive responsiveness of Knockout City. I just remember playing that and I was like, this is really fun. And we had some really cool, really nice matches and everything.
Surprisingly a fun game from EA.
Yeah.
And not gonna lie, Jerrell, when you said free to play, I forgot that it wasn't free because it was a day one launch title for Game Pass.
Yeah.
Thanks to EA Play's partnership thing with Game Pass. So when you said free to play, I made a face like I didn't pay for that shit. Like, oh yeah, Game Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass. Yeah, yeah. So, and I think that's really honorable too. So, for one, to me, it shows how important, how like the community was like, no, like we like this game. We would rather go through a free to play notion, versus having EA fuck it up. So, I think it's pretty dope for them to do that, and then it shows how much money they've made too, where they'll be able to self-publish their own game. I think that's a huge thing as well that might be overlooked. So, again, man, the more studios that we can kind of have like this, and to self-publish their own shit, to make the games that they want, and to make them right for the community, I think it's a win, all around. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely glad also for like again non Game Pass owners or Sony customers. I'm happy it's only free to play just because it just has that free to play aspect to it where there's no campaign. It's just online only. Arguably a smaller game, but it's not advertised like a giant Battlefield. It's a dodgeball game. And again, there's microtransactions, but again, I'm not again, though I don't like them as a whole. I'm more critical of how they're executed. And
Yeah.
this game, I think did it fine. It's like you want to pay for this and this and this, pay for that. Versus the gamble loot box system where it's quote luck based. Well, it turns out surprise, there's an algorithm where you'll
Right.
never get this thing until you pay $200, like COD Mobile.
Right. Right.
So again, I'm happy for the studio that now they'll be free to do more other IPs outside of EA because as we know, it is not as a big picture. It's not a good thing to be a studio under EA. It's like that's like being a movie production company under Fox in the 90s when they'll cancel you after 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I still love when Family Guy came back to Fox and it's like, I can't wait to watch all these shows that's still on Fox. And like a literal 30-second text scroll of all the fucking shows Fox canceled in the time that Family Guy was gone.
Yeah, man, crazy stuff indeed when it comes to that. The next thing on the docket here, definitely wanted to have a little convo about this. Once again, VGC is kind of like my bread and butter in the news, but it appears that Twitch has in fact returned the Twitch app has returned back to the Xbox dashboard. And it says here in quotes that it's been re-engineered and better than ever. So now it'll be much quicker to start up that Twitch, do their recordings and whatnot. Wanted to get your thoughts on this, Arthur, because I know in general I'm rocking PC, but folks like yourself would be more so ones that would be either interested or disinterested into this news. So what are your thoughts?
More integration and friendlier interfaces. I'm always here for. The way Twitch used to be is once you link your account, which for some is arguably easier or not, but it's just like it's like one of those processes you complain about, but if you time it, it's less than 2 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer if you have to click I forgot password, which I always do. But the old way, the old way with Twitch was like home, record, like once you've already linked your stuff, home, record, like Xbox dashboard, tab over to recording, hit a button, boom, done, easy. That was great integration. It reminds me, I still miss Mixer, Microsoft's exclusive streaming thing. That was the most seamless recording shit on Xbox ever. That was like literally home record. Like it was like two buttons. It was like home record. Like how for Xbox consoles or possibly I don't know how the interface works on PC, but an Xbox to like record a clip or take a screenshot, it's like home X or home Y. Um, it was like one of those like home, hold these two buttons, you're recording, you're live on Mixer, let's go. That was the easiest, but of course, that was a Microsoft built software built for that from the ground up. But again, now that Twitch is there, I'm happy for it. There are some things that I'm not the happiest with Twitch for, meaning its discoverability. It's like when it comes to viewership, Twitch heavily focuses on that bell curve, where other streaming and or social media platforms focus on discoverability. Twitch focus on the bell curve. Like they put all their investments in, all their focus in to like the top 10%, the top 10% of the bell curve of streamers and or viewership, and everybody else gets left to the wayside. But that's like that's a Twitch thing on its own. But again, for this integration, this bringing it back to console like this, I'm all for it.
It's good to know. I appreciate that breakdown. Yeah, so I mean, I think, like you said, I think if it's made better, more convenient for people to record and upload their stuff on their Twitch account, that's cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely shout out to good old Xbox.
Yeah, and now it's gonna be a little bit easier to lick those ear mics and chill in hot tubs.
Oh man,
Hey, that's Twitch featured right there, man.
no, you're right. You're right.
That's not me. You want to? Hey, you want to? Hey, you thought? Yeah, you thought Twitch featured was going to be games? Nah, that is a PG-13 PG-13 campsite, my guy.
Yeah, yeah. So while the ball's in your corner, I did want to give you some flowers here on the "You've Called It" segment. So here on the Gamers for Life podcast, every now and again we'll make certain predictions that, in fact, sometimes and a lot of the times, I should say, do come to fruition, and we predict correctly. So Arthur, this week you sent over a story to me on Facebook. Go ahead and share it, the folks, what you called already in the past.
I called towards like back in, I think even November when this started to come up, because the topic really came up a lot during Cyberpunk, and then also came up during Doom Eternal, which is the new hot topic or like focus word. I can't think of the hot thing. Big press word being accessibility, and what's now become, see, previously when we thought of accessibility, that meant like those affected with color blindness, able to play games, those with arachnophobia. I thought that was something too that's been increasing. More and more games have arachnophobia settings. I know Grounded, from Rare, I think it is Rare, that is on Game Pass. That got a lot of news. That got a lot of news in a positive way, because the arachnophobia setting had it to where you can either see a giant wolf spider as it is,
Yeah,
or a
fear
marsh
spiders.
or a marshmallow with cute little eyes. Uh,
I
so
definitely would appreciate that marshmallow because I hate spiders.
hey, that's the thing. My housemate Ivan, like my housemate Ivan, he's in the category of arachnophobia. So that game became playable to him via that setting. But again, so previously accessibility became to those that are I don't know if this word's correct. My apologies, but like handicapped or like have a hindrance in some shape, form, or whatever. Microsoft got a lot of press with their new controller, with that controller with those with movement limitations, or limitations, etc. To make it easier for them to play games. But now the new thing that's becoming synonymous with accessibility, which I was talking about in previous months that I called, is difficulty. And that became like a hot topic. At first, I was definitely team laughing about it because what it became was that should games be more accessible. Oh, I hit my mic. Should games be more accessible by being easier to play? And the reason that became like kind of like a laughable, memeable subject, pretty much, is that was just the collective community laughing at journalists, because it's like it's the running joke that a lot of journalists sometimes can't play games, and it becomes a little funny. But more and more as time has gone on, it's becoming this thing of like where it's like, well, maybe more people would play this game if it was easier. But what we're seeing in a positive light is that people are becoming happier by both adding an easier difficulty, but also for those purists, those that want to get that perfected, those speedrunners that say I'm the best, that let's just be honest, are sometimes better than me in most games. Fuck it, let's just be honest. But also adding an even more difficult setting to the game that's like kind of pleasing both people. For example, SIFU. SIFU will be coming out with difficulty sliders, but again, they're doing it on both sides to make it easier and make it more difficult. Because Jerrell and I think we're in the same boat sometimes. Or let's be honest, sometimes it does really suck to
Oh yeah,
work like a 12-hour fucking shift. The whole time you're just looking forward to playing a game. You come home and you just get your fucking ass kicked.
absolutely.
And you don't want to play. It just does suck.
It fucking sucks.
I mean, you get older. I feel like once you hit 30, boom, your knees start to give up. Your hand-eye coordination isn't what it used to be. Your timing, your reflexes are a little bit affected. And there are like, again, for us, like when when we were like embarrassingly but truthful, when we went back into playing Gears, playing Gears the
Oh
Swarm,
man,
I forget what's
that was
called.
that was the funniest shit.
I'm like, are we just bad at
We've
games
experienced.
now?
We're just. Inventor was playing with us, right? Yeah, we
Yeah,
were just
yeah.
like, "What the fuck is?
Hi,
Why are we so bad right now?"
Hive Busters, that's what it's called. The epilogue.
Yes, yeah.
And
Holy God.
that's becoming a thing. And again, though I admittedly was against it at first, because it was just kind of being described almost as a joke in the large picture, like Sony's AI, like Sony AI to make the game easier. We're like, whatever, get good, you fucking nerd. Um, but again, more and more we're seeing that switch, that just because somebody is arguably not, like, quote unquote, not good at a game, doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to have fun. And that's the argument that more and more people are jumping on. Like Alana Pierce, who's involved with Sony, no,
Everything. Santa Monica
Santa Monica.
Studios. Yeah.
Thank you, and God
Yeah.
of War, because something, there was one, at least, there's one, topic that, of course, almost any female game journalist or gamer or streamer is aware of, and which is gatekeeping in the community. And arguably, large picture, we're against that. Like, we don't want games to be gatekept by fucking morons. No, we want more. We want the community to grow. We want more gamers. We want more people experiencing this amazing medium, this amazing art, storytelling, visual art industry. But so now another way people are wording it is, we don't want the difficulty to be another gatekeeper. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. No, and um just while it's still on my brain, this is a really great conversation or topic. Yeah, I think it's a fair win for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So it's a fair win for people, like you said, that want to get more involved with games, that maybe aren't super technical or super want to, like, learn, 60 different fight moves or whatever. And then also too, when you talked about reviewers playing games, I feel like a lot of the time that would kind of biasly determine some reviewers' opinions of games in an unfair manner as well. So I think so not only will you have a growth of the community playing games, you're also going to have a better review of games as a whole because people will be able to get to them from start to finish. And you're absolutely right, Arthur. When it comes to just like, the older you get playing games, you like it's harder to play those games literally and physically. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like I'm a mouse and keyboard guy.
Mhm.
So it's a little easier on my wrist from the mouse perspective. But when it comes to SIFU, it's like this is a fighting game. Like I kind of need a controller, so I got to
Yeah.
do the controller, and yes, I'm able to access it better. But like I had to stop playing for like a good hour because like my wrist and like my forearm was just killing me. You know what I mean? So it's like
Mhm.
being in my 30s, I can't do that for long, especially because like I play guitar and like the hand that I usually pick, which I need that, and if it's cramping up, it's like okay, that's a problem from a video game perspective. You know what I mean? So yeah, like you said, like well said. I think it's absolutely. I think it's better for everybody. It's funny. It reminds me of you remember Wanted, the game Wanted on Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Their difficulty setting, the easiest one was Pussy.
Even
It was
a
really
wolf
it's
a
like,
Wolfenstein has literal baby mode.
yeah, where it actually shows him with like the bib and everything and the
Yeah,
thing
the
as well.
little the little binky, the wah wah. The, and like for me, I'm okay with that because like
Yeah,
because again because the benefit to the benefit to a difficulty setting, again, it gives something I'm always here for, which is freedom of choice on the gamer. Like
yeah,
because and for example, what game the Fallen Order, I'm playing Fallen Order Fallen Order is notoriously a hard game even in normal mode, as I learned. I'm getting my ass kicked,
mm,
but there are simpler settings. There are simpler settings, like one, for example, called story mode. Like
yeah,
because like arguably Star Wars is one of the biggest universes when it comes to lore. People want more. They want more of it. And so I can easily see how a Star Wars fan that has a console or PC that may not be the best gamer, but
right,
wants to experience the story and the lore of that Star Wars IP, Fallen Order, which in the time I played it is amazing.
yeah.
I can absolutely see why they would pick story mode because they're in it for the experience, for the story. And this amazing, and then that amazing writing, the writing that's the Fallen Order, in my case, I would say surprisingly had.
This is actually a great opportunity. I'm going to shout out Tauntalk, and god damn it, I need Tauntalk back. And the reason why I shout them out right now and then is because I remember we were talking to the girls
Yeah.
that that run Tauntalk, Clarissa and Isabel, on the Tauntalk podcast. If you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't listened to it, listen to the podcast. It's like arguably the best Star Wars podcast on the internet.
Mhm.
But I remember them specifically talking about like how Isabel was like, "I love Star Wars. I'm terrible at games." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like, this whole conversation like would be perfect for like them as well, as far as like if they really they really like the story of the game, but it's like they don't want to learn 50 million things. They just want to get through the game for like a story purpose. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, absolutely, that's a fantastic example. You know?
Like I said, though there are the extreme fringe fucking assholes. The fucking assholes like, oh, you can't do this. You're not a gamer. Go fuck yourself, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Like even me, like growing up, I love games. I'm not ashamed to say it. For the original Lion King, I couldn't. I had to have my older cousin beat the Stampede level because I couldn't
yeah.
fucking beat it.
There's
you know, like
there's a lot of games that I couldn't finish or like yeah there's a lot of games I couldn't finish when I was younger.
yeah, there is, and again, so again, so even though this whole accessibility thing was again arguably quote unquote laughable because it was just people just dumping on game journalists, which at the timing of that was like, I'm not saying warranted, but like there were stories of like, for example, the infamous cyberpunk review where yeah, I can't talk about the side quests. I didn't do the side quests because I don't like the cops, and it's like, well, your fucking job is to play the game. But again, so the timing of that was just a unique timing of the topic to discuss. But again, when it comes to gatekeeping of the collective like gamer slash nerd community, what I mean, like and there's like hardly the mass majority of gamers also are familiar with comics, have friends that like comics, that Magic the Gathering, Star Wars, etc. It's like a Venn diagram of like the massive like nerd community. Arguably, gaming's right there in the middle of all that, and we don't want to gatekeep those there that whether it's a Warhammer fan that does tabletop. Now there's a Warhammer game that comes out like Total War Warhammer 3 just came out. Again, who wouldn't want that again for the Warhammer fans? More, the lore of Warhammer is fucking amazing. Who wouldn't want to experience a new Warhammer game? But again, if it's too difficult, then it's like they don't get to experience that the same way, if there was like a difficulty slider. But again,
Yeah.
right now, that's the biggest, like, not olive branch, but like where people are meeting in the middle. Like people that still think, like the people that still think games should not have a difficulty slider. It is what it is. Either you're good at the game or you're bad at the game. Whatever. But and those that where I'm on now, saying there should be difficulty slider. The biggest like peace offering in the middle is having the slider go both ways.
Yeah.
Meaning have it both easier
Easier
and harder. Hey, you've got every platinum trophy you can in every Dark Souls game. Well, guess what? Want to play it again with like even more difficulty, or hey, like the Elden Ring early on, not early on, but like a few months ago before it came out, they said, hey, Elden Ring will still have the difficulty that From Software is known for in a positive way, but quote, it'll be less stressful.
Yeah.
And I feel like
I thought that was very thoughtful.
it was very thoughtful. And I feel like those articles were meant for us, the adults, not for the tweens and the teens playing Fortnite that can build a fucking 5-story hotel in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But again, they'll learn. They'll learn, man. They'll learn. They'll just watch a couple decades of time. You're like, oh man, I can't instantly build a 20-story tower in Fortnite like I used to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It happens. So as we see this topic more and more, I think see a bigger picture, like I said, in a good way. You'll see these active or inactive gatekeeping aspects of games go down. More arachnophobia settings, color. Like I think arguably we all remember when we first started seeing color blindness settings. So I know colorblind friends. I'll be honest. We were at a young age. I'm like, what's this for? And then like turns out one of my friends like has like one of the colorblind things where his yellow and green is like just doesn't compute. And it's like, oh, so here, cool, John. Let's play this fucking game now because there's a colorblind setting. And so how that made a big impact in the gaming industry. Again, overall, I think these specifically settings, like in arachnophobia, but more importantly, these difficulty ones, I think in a good way are on the rise.
Yeah, definitely. The last thing I want to talk about here in the show, and we talked about it a little bit, but it's becoming to sprout more and more, is video game movies. So, so to start, I'll talk about Uncharted, and definitely I want to give it its flowers. I need to watch it still, but there's a report that said that Uncharted film it ranks number 4 in out of the biggest video game movie box office opens in the U.S., which is huge, and it's already been highlighted for sequel, I believe, and the Sony CEO. Said that he's looking at it to be a franchise. So it did well enough where it's going to be a franchise. So I do need to see it. Need to get off my butt and see it. But
watch it, get some food.
Yeah, yeah. We should probably watch it sometime. But this highlights a bigger question to me, Arthur, because I read an article also today. And Joe Russo from the Russo brothers, who did, the Marvel Civil War, and basically the best Marvel movies,
the better Marvel movies, exactly.
The better Marvel / Avenger movies.
Sorry, Thor 2.
He was talking. Basically, he said that the video game movies are really going to change storytelling, in the film industry. And I thought that was very poignant, specifically because there was also some news earlier this week, which Netflix has picked up the BioShock movie, or they're going to be working on a BioShock movie. Now, I'm going to cringe a little bit because it says movie, but I do think I think if there's any video game that could be a movie and isn't as convoluted where it needs a fucking series, I think BioShock would be fine to do a film on. Yeah. But the reason why I was like, oh wow, this is interesting, because originally I want to say his name's Gore Verbinski, who did like the Pirates of the Caribbean films, I believe. He originally was approached with the Bioshock screenplay, and he was like, I need like $300 million to make what I need to make, and they're like, go fuck yourself. So then like this was like no one was picking this up until recently, but we're seeing this narrative of more and more. They're starting to take video games not just as this fuck shit thing that kids play that is, that is violent or whatever. So wow, a lot of these games they have really good content. They have good storylines, and we can actually adapt them to films. And then all of us are like, no shit, we've known this for decades. But now that we are seeing it, I'm curious to get your thoughts on, I guess, kind of how you feel about this. To me, I always want these games to go into the right hands because to me, there's a very and you know this for being a gamer, there's a personalization there. You know what I mean? There's a personalization. It's so different when you're playing a game and you beat a game versus watching through a film, and you want that game to be respected in all sorts, not just a game but as a story in itself. So when we have these hungry Hollywood dudes with a bunch of money, they want to implement something into film because it can make a bunch of money because there's already a market for it. I just want it to be in the right hands for people that understand it. We like the what's his name, Henry Cavill, like the Henry Cavills of the world, who is passionate and they understand they did their research and they're committed. We want people like that a part of it.
Who just spent the weekend at Warhammer headquarters, like I was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I want to get your thoughts on just, what do you think as far as just we're seeing this rise of more and more video game movies are coming into fruition.
Uh, so one, we both collectively kind of called it that now that comics, or at least Marvel, has, I'm not saying hit a hole. I'm just saying as big of a crescendo that end game was built as successfully as it was.
Yeah.
It was we were saying how it was only notable until people see how like, hey, these nerds that like comics, turns out these are really good stories. Well, it turns out a lot of these people also play games. Let's go check out those.
Right, yeah.
Good.
Sorry, really quick. I'll be the Marvel guy, like, and I'm sorry if I'm just a dick about this. I don't really give a shit about a lot of these Marvel films coming up until they fucking hit X-Men. Call me when X-Men is coming out. X-Men and Blade. Call me when those are coming out because I don't give a shit about any of these other things.
Oh well, you gotta figure out. Well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe Disney might buy Sony Pictures too. So who the fucking knows? But I am looking forward to Mahershala Ali's Blade.
Yeah, man.
Motherfuckers always got to ice skate uphill. Also, Mahershala, if you're listening, learn from those that have come before you. Pay your taxes. Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes could defeat vampires. Couldn't beat the IRS.
Yeah, you didn't have the silver bullets to defend them, so.
No. But again, to directly answer your question, I think like you, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. Arguably, I would say that I'm excited for this because I'm always down for this industry being legitimized, being recognized, going quote unquote mainstream. But I am hesitant of how they're executed. And like my comparison is like, for someone that fell in love with a movie, or even like a saga. Let's say like the original Star Wars. Like let's say if you became a Star Wars fan, but you never read the comics. Like let's say you're a massive Star Wars, like of the original trilogy, but you never found yourself with the comics or books. That means you fell in love with arguably 9 hours of entertainment, right? Well, like we said, a lot of these games, Bioshock, Mass Effect, Halo, Last of Us, Cuphead, um, Castlevania, Dota, League of Legends, Max Payne, Monster Hunter, etc., etc. These more and more things that have had a movie, that have had a show about them, or having a show about them, or having a movie come out about them, like Sonic and Fallout. Um, these are games with like 30 plus hours worth of content, and for those and for games like Bioshock, Sonic, that have been out that have like entire franchise or trilogy behind it, that's even like fucking triple that of how much we've connected with these characters. So like, like you're saying, I would say understandably, when it comes to these movies, gamers are critical of how they're executed, because how they're executed, because again, these are like weeks, months, and for those that have sequels and etc., years worth of memories, experience, and tie-ins with these, tie-ins with these movies. And if you want to break it down, even even compare it to like a movie based off books, you know, like like Lord of the Rings, like Harry Potter, Harry Potter, the casting Harry, the casting Harry Potter, the casting Harry Potter was making the casting directors like fucking pull her hair out to make sure she stuck those main three roles of Ron, Hermione, and Harry, because of because they knew how important that was going to be to the fans. And it's the same way with these video game movies. I'm excited for them to be recognized. I'm excited for these stories to be told. I'm excited for these characters to be seen on the silver or big screen, but I'm hesitant to how they're going to be done. Um, and That's why I say like like what's the budget? There's always like the like arguably like the main three questions when it comes to video game movies. Well, first of all, what's the budget? Because again, for example, you can't make a good Halo show
Yeah.
without a decent CGI budget.
Right.
And
Exactly.
me kind of calling it out myself and being right, I was like, oh, hey, speaking of CGI, there's a reason why Steven Spielberg movies stand the test of time, because they had groundbreaking $1 million hundreds, tens of millions, $100 million budgets, and thanks to companies like Ambient that were groundbreaking technology of why movies like Jurassic Park still hold the test of time. And then of course me googling it, oh, Ambient's the people doing the production behind Halo, which made me more
Yeah.
excited for the show.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and why that Chevy Tahoe looks so good.
And that T-Rex, bro, that T-Rex in
Dude,
Jurassic Park still looks hot.
still
Still
holds up.
looks good. Yeah, it still holds up.
And so Rise mentioned like a couple questions when it comes to when you hear about gaming. What's the budget? Also, when it comes to these sources that have multiple games about them, will it be about the one game? Are they going to combine the collective trilogy or franchise into one thing, or are they just using the gaming? Are they going to use the game as a backdrop and do something new with it? For example, the new Mortal Kombat. The new Mortal Kombat falls into the category of combining everything with once, but at the same time using it as a backdrop, in the sense that the main character Cole doesn't exist in the games. That's a new original character they made for the movie. So whereas you look at like, let's say, I think till this day the best video game movie, Silent Hill, the first one.
Mm.
That was Silent Hill to the T. Both as a horror movie, it's still pretty scary, but also as a source material to the game. If you haven't seen the first Silent Hill, go watch it. So yeah, those are things where I think we both agree. Like sometimes I feel like 9 times out of 10, these games will make better shows than movies. But for something like BioShock, where every game is different and almost loosely has nothing to do with the other thing, those are great, not snippets, but arguably, more condensed stories versus a trilogy or franchise that would make a better movie than a show.
Yeah. No, great points. I think those are great points that you make. Absolutely, I 100% agree. So we'll see what happens from there, man. We're about an hour 5 right now. Is there anything else that maybe we need to address before we close?
One, I need to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. Speaking of games, and shows and stuff. I haven't, but now I want to. Have you seen the Cuphead show on Netflix?
I hear it's great. I haven't seen it though.
Same. I'm hearing good things. I want to watch it. I love the game.
Hey, that's
Again,
another hard one.
I've beat most of the bosses in Cuphead, but not all of them.
Yeah.
But also on a side note, I do like the fact that how long of a list. I'm not saying yay me, I have a good memory. You're like, haha. I'm just saying I'm happy how long the list is now of video game movies and TV shows. Like when I started
Yeah.
that, I'm like, I'm gonna list like 4 things. Then I was like, nope, that a thing, that a thing, that a thing, that a thing. And I'm like, oh
Becoming
yeah,
a long list. Yeah.
yeah. It's like we said, but the week before E3 was Gamer Week or on Netflix, what they call it. You remember?
Geek Week.
Geek Week, yeah,
Yeah.
where it was a whole week of Netflix just advertising all the gamer stuff they're gonna have coming. Um, one quick follow up with that is, as I forget his name, but they've kind of casted either the main character or one of the main characters for the Fallout series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They're making a Fallout series. Is it Amazon? Oh, it's Amazon.
Yeah. HBO's last. See, another thing, I'm losing
I'm
track
a
of
little
who's doing
worried
what.
about that one, but yeah.
I'm looking. I'm actually a little. I'm put it this way. I'm a little bit more looking forward to that one. I'm looking more forward to Fallout than Halo. Only
Oh,
minimally.
really?
I'm only a little minimal.
Okay.
Only because Halo announced they're going to show Master Chief's face.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which, I mean, even on face value, if you want a divisive fucking statement, they say Paramount is going to show us Master Chief's face before the actual, like, arguably the Halo games. I'm just saying.
It's pretty wild.
I'm just saying. That's a
That's
very
one way
divisive.
to that's one way to get people to subscribe for Paramount Plus.
That is a big clickbait watch our show
Yeah.
or have people reacting to it.
Yeah.
The other thing I have to say is, in terms of the other news stories like that came up or mentionable, is I like how the Harry Potter RPG is once again like in production hell with the release date.
Yeah, because it got pushed back again, right?
Yeah, it got pushed. So it got announced that it got pushed back again, but then either somebody, a developer or somebody with a publishing company, came out saying it's not that significant of a pushback. Which makes me think. Which honestly, if I had to bet money, I think they did a December to February delay. Because I'm trying to think. Either October. It was going to be Broketober, and now it's going to compete against the big boys that is holiday season, or it's avoiding the big boys of holiday season, and now it's February. Except this year, where February just became all the fucking true games we wanted to get.
Yeah, man, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know about that one. You know, I'm pretty worried about, but I'm not super worried because I don't care about it too much. But yeah, it's very, there's some pretty strong signs of like this is probably gonna fuck up.
How do you feel that you can now be sent nudes in Cyberpunk?
I didn't know that was a thing.
You didn't hear about that?
No.
That was because you know how there was that new update for the next gen consoles of Cyberpunk, that patch that came out. One thing that came with it is the NPCs that you're romanticizing will send you nudes. They'll sext you.
Johnny Silverhand's gonna send me his silver hand.
I don't know. But that was like the clickbait.
That's wild, bro.
That was the clickbait. That was the clickbait title articles that Cyberpunk, the NPCs they romanticizing will now send you nudes.
That's hilarious.
And hey, for me, if one of their biggest marketing things was Panama's ass, I'm here for it. Fuck it. Just saying.
Those conversations were hard to navigate, bro. I'm just gonna say that. But I guess as a light side note before we close, even though Cyberpunk went through hell and high water, to the core, it's a good game. You know what I mean? The game needed literally 2 years, like 2 more years. You know what I mean? But like playing it on PC, I'm like, this is a good game. Like, it's not amazing, but there's a lot involved in it. You know what I mean? So, it seems like the game's maybe like 90% done at this point after all the fucking patches they've dumped into it. But it's fun. It's a fun game. So it's worth a play, I would say. Now,
I still like how, in a good way, when Preston was here, and we were talking about how 2021 was the year of disappointments, how a lot of people are going to be turning to campaign-based games and possibly indie-based games. Seeing how 2021 was the year of AAA just shitting the fucking bed, or missing the mark, whether it's Halo's online execution via progress. Now everything's a fucking battle pass. Battlefield 2042 being a mess thanks to Halo. And then forget what else was whatever other games were a disappointment. I forgot about them. So again, with me, I'm looking forward to this year. Looking forward to it, dude. Like I said, this year's E3. I can't wait.
We definitely gotta. Hopefully we can both have the day off because I definitely want to watch that. Stream that with you, get some food or something, and
yeah,
make food right at the house.
Make food. And speaking of getting older and accessibility being a thing, yeah, we definitely need to make this a healthier year than before. I mean, the sense that it is like we joked about it before, but it's like at my Super Bowl Super Bowl party where they eat all the chips and food. It's like cool. By the way, we also have Tums over there. So yeah, so maybe a little more on the lighter side of smoothies and I don't know, healthier shit.
Yeah, chicken based versus pork based.
Dude, I recently had a fake vegan chicken nuggets. She was awesome.
Nice, very cool. Well, folks, we're going to wrap it up here at the Gamers for Life podcast. Again, each and every Saturday discussing all things games. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Be sure to subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe here. The realest podcast in games that you're going to get here. I'm your host, or one of your hosts, Jerrell. With me is my co-host, my right-hand man, Arthur Thomas. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.